Nothing is being recorded. So let's just go. All right. Hey, everyone. My lighting is worse than usual. I am in a hotel room in Los Angeles. We're doing Granblue Radio a little bit late because yesterday was the 4th of July, and it was either do it a little bit late or doing it during explosions. But DJ, how you doing? How was your 4th of July?
Very chill. I had a great time. Didn't have to do anything.
That sounds fun. All right.
How was yours?
A lot of eating, explosions. All right, so we had a character release. We had a very quiet choreograph also. Like, the choreograph was basically, we're having 2 reruns. That's it for the month of July, and a bunch of quality of life changes. So
I gotta show us anything yet.
Yeah. All right.
The stream's ending this month, right? So
what?
The stream's gonna be at the end of this month.
MCAS is no longer on the air, so now I will have to watch through Pocky's television on. He's gonna leave his TV on at Sunday 9 p.m. and stream it to me from across the ocean.
Oh,
it's gonna be a thing. So Granblue TV channel. It's still on the air, but yeah, they got to do some weird stuff. And by they, I mean we.
Is the YouTube channel still up? But I know that's off by a day.
Yes, the YouTube channel still exists. The show is still going, but MCAS, which is the live streaming channel that was being used by anybody outside of the Tokyo area, to be honest, in order to watch this show, it's gone. So anyway, we have 2 new characters who came out, both related to the Sumo Warrior event, which was slightly less silly in some ways than last time, but still pretty damn silly. All right, anyway, we're going to start with the easy character to read. We're going to start it with Tefnut, because you just look down here and you're like, wait, I've seen this before.
Yeah, definitely have.
And so we're going to go all the way down to convalescent doze, which is a very familiar thing. So Tefnut wants to go into this doze state. And when she's dozing, she can't normal attack for 5 turns. She gets a bunch of dodge. When she charge attacks, then the person after her gets double strike and bonus water damage. And then at the end of the turn, she activates her skill 1 nuke. And then, not just that, but if she didn't attack at the end of her turn, if she's in doze state, then she gets her CA standby every time. So she gets 5 straight turns of CA standby when she presses this button. And the person after her gets 5 straight turns of double strike. That's basically Yukata Silva.
The difference is that she can actually dodge.
Right. So when Yukata Silva is doing that, is it that her hostility is down?
Her hostility is 100% down.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that she can't get hits.
Right. And so it works in pretty different ways. But yeah. And then so that on its own is really strong in an element where you have someone who, just gets huge amounts of attack and bonuses from multi-striking in Paella. But then there's actually the rest of this kit. Well, go ahead.
We have the numbers on the bow.
On the what?
Also, apparently the chaser on the CA afterwards is 30%.
That's pretty good when it's provided by a CA.
Yeah, and then you activate your nuke, so you're doing more than just CAing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the other things that she actually does instead of normal attacking. So she's encouraged definitely not to normal attack. She doesn't gain meter from it. You might as well block if you're playing in V2. And then the other things that she does are based on not taking damage, which is why you want to go into the state anyway. So she dodges. And so at the end of the turn, when she manages to dodge or she just doesn't take damage in the first place, every other water ally gets a one-time triple attack, guaranteed. They get a boost to damage cap when she does that. They get
percent.
They get supplement on their attacks.
50K.
And she gets a level of Sarab, which gives all the following things. So it's attack up, which is probably going to be, I'm going to just guess here, 30% perpetuity?
Nope. 4% each stack.
Okay. So it's up to 20% then. Okay,
Correct.
okay. Multi-attack rate?
DA goes 20% per stack. TA is 5% per stack.
Okay, so 25% total. And that's, for turns that she isn't dodging and just guaranteeing it for them. Dodge rate?
4% per.
So 20% dodge when she has 5 of these. And then charge bar gain passively.
4% per.
So that is something that Vajra used to provide, and you were very happy to get. And so this is sort of a similar kit there to do that. But then she has the other things that are also here. We haven't even looked at her CA, her skill 1, or her skill 2. So when she CAs, it's unworldly water damage, which is, very good numbers.
Yeah, she can't normally attack. However, it's asterisk here.
Yeah. It delays, which is another Silva thing that she does on her CAs. And, she's going to... Having 5 straight turns of delays in certain content, super powerful. And then 2 random debuffs. So I don't remember what the random debuffs are. Okay.
So these are all last 2 turns, by the way.
Okay.
Your choice is local 25% defense.
Okay.
Sleep, charm, blind, 20% special attack damage lowered, forfeit, and corrosion.
Those are good. Those are good ones, except for sleep. Sleep is it's not one that I place any trust in, but the other ones are very good. And then you have Tefeng Safe, which is the one that auto activates. Where is it?
The 5-hit nuke.
During Istira. There it is. So it's a 5-hit nuke. Gives stackable water defense down.
The dispels.
Yeah, it dispels. You got a 10% boost to everybody else's charge bar. And once she's made it to Sarab 5, it adds on the 6 hits of damage amp.
Technically not everyone else's. Everybody gets a 10%. So she'll end her turn with 10%.
Fair enough. That usually only matters on the 1 to 2 turns of convalescent doze downtime. That was hard to say.
She only gets meter if she doesn't attack.
Right, like I said, it's only going to be relevant during the downtime when she's actually trying to attack.
Well, the between turns you shouldn't be getting meter because she attacked with a CA.
Right. Okay, and then the debuff here. So there's Gloomy Fog, which is attack lowered and then chance to miss, and it's 3 turns on a 7-turn cooldown.
The accuracy lowered is 50%.
That is super strong.
The attack down is also 50%.
Yeah. She has multi-attack down on this, which is, very quietly very good. And then when she has Sarab level 5, she gives people Dispel Cancel, which has been reworded to let you know that buff shortening doesn't work on things that have Dispel Cancel on. There's Mirror Image and Dodge All, which, yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. So this whole package is super strong. It is she helps you with survival. She helps you with debuff count. She helps you a bit with hit count. She does Yeah, she does hit count because the person after her does that. She's only okay at skill damage. It's fine. And
She does more than Sylvan's skill damage.
yeah, and the only thing about bringing her to like the super hard V2 fights is that she provides no healing. And so the people that you would replace for her are the ones who tend to provide healing. So you have to be really careful on who you're taking out for her, because you're sacrificing a lot of, damage mitigation and heal in order to put this character in. And 50% miss chance is very different from having, fire switch and fire damage reduced and things like that, which are from a lot of the characters whose spot she's competing for.
It's okay, we just dodge for 20% of the time.
Yeah. That said, I've been using her in my Colossus, Colossus 3, and she's, doing super fine there. There's a lot of use for her in places like Hexachromatic Hierarch. I haven't been brave enough to use her in Lucy Zero yet, because that's where the fact that she can't heal you is actually really, really tough to justify. But, very good in 90% of the fights in the game. Great place to be. Anything else?
I just wish this profile wasn't put on another limited summer character.
Fair enough, given that the previous one is also on a limited summer character.
Yep.
Yeah, I understand. Anything else to say about this, or are we gonna move on?
No.
Okay.
She's distinct enough from Silva in the way she gives her debuffs and stuff like that.
That's true. So here's the other character who was released, Raziel, who went from free character to summer character in 3 months.
Pretty fast.
What was that? Pretty fast. I'm trying to think of how, because the previous thing I could think of was that Ilsa went from new character to summer character in 7 months, but I'm sure, I don't know who may have gotten there faster. But anyway, pretty fast. Pretty popular character. They struck gold with this one. And, alright. DJ, you're a Yu-Gi-Oh player. I'm a Magic the Gathering player. Let's go and read paragraphs that describe how this works.
You said I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player. That means I stopped reading somewhere along the lines.
Magic players aren't necessarily that good at reading either, even though reading the card is supposed to explain the card. So,
I mean, the basic land that tells you everything about the land.
Oh yeah, all of the hidden rules about being a basic land
and an island.
Yeah. All right, so we go down here, and how her passives work has the longest explanation I think of any passive in the game, because there's 2 different passives. There's Rubrum and Flavum, and they each do different things based on different things, and they grow separately.
And have different starting positions.
So the summary of this is that Raziel cares about how many yellow skills that your team starts with. She cares about how many yellow skills your team presses.
Hold on. You cut out for half a second there.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So Raziel cares about how many yellow skills that you have on your team. She cares about how many yellow skills they press over the course of the fight. And she cares about how many red skills they start with, and how many red skills they press over the course of the fight.
And when you your number starts with how many with your main out.
Ooh, my connection's getting pretty tricky right now. Sorry.
She counts herself.
She does count herself.
So by default, she starts with two yellow and 1 red at minimum.
Okay. The MC provides 4. Threo, if you have her, provides another 4.
Well, the MC provides 4 if you put the correct numbers.
Right. If you
debuffs do not count.
You have to load up on. Count. You have to load up on yellow and red. So right away, a bunch of Earth players were just like, "Oh man, they have to pay attention to this more than ever before." Like, remember when we were fighting against Siegfried and we were desperately looking for green skills on wind characters, and we were just
and then
realizing
we found out we just ignore that.
Yeah, and then blue skills were important for quite a while in Siegfried, and if
And
you
then we
play
eventually
manual,
got to the point where we ignored that too.
yeah,
We just let that dude CA because it's actually easier for us to let him CA.
yeah, but if you do that, then it still is like character limited. You get locked out of a lot of more mechanics that way instead of just beating it with pressing the 3 blue buttons. So anyway, back to Raziel. So let's just say that you start with, let's see, Uriel has 3 of them, Raziel has 1, add another 3 to 4 in there. Let's say you start with 8 with Scorching Enigma. So you have 8 damage skills. Then you need to press 6 damage skills out of those 8, and then you get to 10 Rubrum. Because every 3 times that she hits a red skill, or she sees someone hit a red skill, then she gains 1 Rubrum. And the overall reward for pressing 3 red skills over the course of the entire fight is that she gets a cooldown reduction on her skill 1. So we'll get back to that later. And then the other reward for getting to 10 in the first place is that, so she has a passive amount of attack buff based on how much Rubrum you started with.
It is 3% perpetuity each number.
So there's the 30% perpetuity number that we're used to.
Yeah, we found it.
We found it. And then when it's maxed out at level 10, then she passively has bonus earth damage.
And also skill 1 auto activates on normals.
Yeah, you go back up on that one.
That we'll talk about that button later. It's really good.
Yeah, so the bonus earth damage, how much is it?
20%.
20%?
On a passive.
On a passive, yeah. So that's red. Here we get to yellow. The same rules apply to yellow. She has 2 yellow. MC will have a certain number of yellow. Olivia has 2 yellows, who is one of the common partners for Kaim. Kaim's not a main ally at the start of the fight unless you're doing something wrong. So
wait, what do you mean doing something wrong?
She's not a main ally at the start of the fight.
I don't put Kaim in the back row like half the time anymore.
Well, I mean, you kill someone to get to him first, and that I don't think he counts. Oh, you just play with him front?
Yeah, he can CA still.
Yeah, that's fair. All right.
All his back to front does is make his buffs come up.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so I don't have a skill 4.
Oh, okay. So he's got, 4 yellow by default? It counts as 4 yellow? Well, 3 yellow for you since you don't have a skill 4. But anyway, so characters like that, you start with a certain number, and every 3 buff skills that they use, she gains 1 of the yellow buff, Flavum, and gets a skill cut to her skill 2. And then here's the big beefy stuff. So she gets triple attack based on how much she has.
10% per.
So it goes up to 100% triple attack, which under normal circumstances is triple attack all the time. Debuffs not counting. And then your other reward for that is that she gets flurry.
Triple attack flurry characters. Woo!
Yeah, there's a bunch of hoops here, but the hoops aren't necessarily that hard. It's just deep. If you want it on turn 1, then it's hard. If you want it over the course of a fight, it'll just happen.
Yeah, so the problem with trying to do it naturally is that unless you cheat your cooldowns, it takes a long time to get that up. Especially considering that for example, if we take a character like Kukuru, she can do reds very easily because she cheats her cooldowns, right?
Right.
Lobelia, he literally does 1 every turn.
Right. Monica starts with 3 yellow skills, and she resets it on every CA. And so, yeah, there's a lot of hoop jumping to try and figure this out, and people are working on it still. There are the easy ones, but there's also overlong fights ones. We talked about this with Tefnut. If you're putting Raziel into your hard mode stuff, then you're taking out someone who reduces a bunch of damage for you. And
like a Rulu or Or Kai meets the slot.
Mm-hmm.
Kai coming back from front, typically.
Right. But, that's a separate concern. After all of that, we're going to go to our skill 3 next, because this is a very familiar looking button. So number 1, it says every Earth ally gets attack up for a turn, gets triple attack rate for a turn.
Oh, the attack up is actually on perpetuity modifier. It's 30%.
They get bonus Earth damage 1 time. They get 3 hit flurry
1 time.
One time. And then they all attack out of turn.
So they immediately use up those last 2.
Right. So it is the beautiful child of Percival and Alanon for jumping through all of these hoops and getting to double 10, because you get this once, you get 1 bite of this very juicy apple. It can't be recast, and it requires both of those numbers to be at 10. So you have to start with, say, let's say that you have 13 spell slots at the beginning of a fight. You have 6 and 7, and then you press 12 of one and 9 of the other, and then you have access to this button. And so, I mean, it's an amazing button. People are using Keelan on turn 1 to do it.
Yeah.
People are also just full autoing, and it'll just happen over, the course of the first 5 turns or so, and then it's still super powerful. And this isn't even talking about what her skill 1 and her CAs do, and her skill 2.
Let's start with CA. It's the easier one to talk about.
So here's Angelic Plunge. She gives Earth. She does. It's massive. It's not unworldly. It's fine. It's normal. It gives everybody refresh.
So immediately, it's better than her base version because it gives everybody it immediately instead of having to wait till 10 turn.
Mm-hmm. And then, depending on which of these is at 10, if it's only one of them, she gets an extra hit of Earth damage. And if both of them are 10,
you get 2 hits of that same damage.
Is it a huge nuke for that one?
It's 900k as a base skill damage.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, add skill amps, skill damage cap, and you literally could just do the 2 millions.
Mm-hmm. And so, that one's simple. It's just your reward for getting to 10 is that you get an extra hit. Cool. Now here's the skills that she'll be spamming. The ones that she'll use over and over again. So here's the Book of Beating Heat. It's 4 hits of randomly targeted damage. It's minus Earth defense, stackable.
10%. Up to 40.
A stackable supplement damage taken debuff.
Up to 30k. We've seen this one before.
Who has that?
Valentine's Tigers.
Oh, that's right.
The difference is that once Raziel's online, she's always online. Tigers will fall off until their cycle gets by.
Mm-hmm. And it dispels.
Yeah, that's also the same as Tigers.
Right. And then when she gets to Rubrum, which, as you may recall, is the red skill buff, when that's at 10, then she auto-activates it when she normal attacks.
Yeah, this is the most important one of the two if you're trying to do these two.
Mm-hmm.
Because it also gives you a chaser, so you immediately turn into a two-hit person instead of a one-hit person for attack. Mm-hmm. So compared to just Flurry, is Flurry, you need other things in order to make it good, right?
Wait, is it activates upon anybody's normal attacks?
No, hers.
Okay, just checking.
No, that'd be stupid.
It would be stupid. Because that would do even more than Hase, because it would do all of these effects instead of just 4 hits. And Hase is already plenty stupid, but anyway.
However, by the time you get skill 3, it would also auto-cast.
Right. And then, here's the Book of Sunlight. So here's Enigmatic Refuge. It's a fairly simple buff. It's 5 turns out of, a little asterisk, 12. And it's Earth attack up.
50%.
Triple attack.
50%.
Earth Chaser.
20%.
And then when you have the full 10 yellow, then it gives them supplemental damage as a buff.
100K.
It's a lot.
Especially since you might just manually hold off on using skill 3, for example, right?
Right.
Until you have them back up, because this is a 12-turn cooldown, and cheating your cooldowns with this one's a lot harder than cheating red.
Yeah, because a 1-turn cooldown to a 12-turn cooldown is like it's still 10 turns once you've passed the turn and cut it, and it's like, oh
yeah, and it's like spamming buffs is a little bit hard.
Okay, we were cutting out, so we were talking about how hard it is to get yellow.
Spam yellows, yeah.
Yeah, because like I said, the only character I can think of who can, like, Monica gets 1 when she resets.
It's a link skill, so
yeah. And it's like it takes an Ahan to spam yellow skills like that.
Yeah, unfortunately. Actually, fortunately,
he's not Earth. But
actually, the way the buff is written is that it does for our reason, Battlestar is to main allies. It didn't say main Earth allies.
Right, but the
skill, the spamming part.
Yeah, the spamming part has to be an Earth ally. And so, yeah, even if you're sacrificing for Kaim, like, you actually care about what characters that you have up front, if you're sacrificing them in order to get Kaim up front, which is a funny thing that is now exclusive to Earth players, which is just, it's funny to me. But yeah, like the ideal scenario when everything lines up, right? Like, you've pressed every button, you've hit Keelan, you've pressed every button again, and now you're at 10-10, and you have Book of Awakening. So you have 2 stacks of supplemental damage increased on the boss. You have extra 100k on yourself and all of your Earth allies. She's activating the Book of Beating Heat after her normal attacks. Everybody has not only guaranteed triple attack for that one time, but also 3-hit flurry for that one time, which matters because they have, once again, 100k supplemental to each hit of that flurry.
Yeah, you would, if you were trying to full auto most of this, you would turn off your CA, because that 100% TA lasts the entire turn.
The flurry doesn't last up the entire turn, right?
It does not.
Yeah.
The chaser and the flurry does not.
And so, you have an entire team triple attacking with an extra 900k by default on their attacks, and then a chaser which also gets an extra 900k from the supplemental buff, and then another additional amount of supplemental from the actual debuff from Book of Beating Heat. That'll be a variable number. So this does a truly massive amount of damage for this one turn. When you get that one bite of the apple, as our friend Daryl likes to talk about. And it is a juicy apple. That said, this was talked about with some people in chat were talking about this, where it's like Dark just hits attack a lot of times. Fire hits a Yarima to death somebody and then hits Alanon and Percival. This has a higher ceiling than both of those. However, the hoops that you jump through to get here are incredible. So this is a great dream to have. It is a very reasonable dream to have. It'll just happen. But yeah, like, that's what she does. She makes you do tons and tons of damage. There is nothing in here that boosts your defense. She has a refresh on her CA. She puts out a bunch of offensive debuffs. Like, none of these will lower the amount of damage you take in any way or fashion. But boy,
removing buffs from the foe can technically.
True. This remove buff right here.
Red skills is going to be my go-to for this United fight.
It's Dread Barrage, right? That's Earth coming up, or is it Earth? No, it's Earth United fight. Yeah, like this character will do a lot against nightmares in Unite and Fight. She already does a lot against burst content. But boy, this Book of Awakening sure is tempting, isn't it? But yeah, the reasonable stuff, like she will be amazing for just hitting the Book of Beating Heat all the time. And then, once you actually get to yellow 10 in your full auto, then yeah, it'll be strong. But like long-term full auto, definitely this Book of Beating Heat. Short-term, just press billions of buttons and do. I think people were like showing videos against the training dummy of doing like 500 million on turn 1 because of Book of Awakening with the full supplement package. But also, actually hitting 30 buttons. Like literally 30.
So fun characters that you can use for this. Kolu cheats out her red button very easily. She actually cast it 3 times in the first turn.
Yeah, huh? Okay, yeah. That's right.
Eats her health twice.
Mm-hmm.
And then normal cast it once.
Yes. We have to remind people that things that have 0 cooldown do not count as a button press. So you can't just have Ire beat the crap out of himself, for example. That's one of the classics. You can't, how people discovered this interaction is that Ire punching himself in the face does not activate Lobelia lightning bolts.
Ironically, though, activating and deactivating your stance in as a glory bringer does count because it has a 1-turn cooldown.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a yellow button you can technically spam every other turn. It's still slow.
It is that is
and
annoying.
You have to do it manually. That's the other thing because they made sure that you don't turn it off on in full auto.
Mm-hmm. What was it? Wasn't there a JJK character with 4? Yep, there it is. Nobara and Maki have 4 red skills to start. And so they are the actual best character in the game for starting her with Flavum, the red stacks, which is pretty funny to me. Rubrum, thank you. Good job, JJK Garrels. I'm still laughing at this part, but anyway.
The common ones I actually really see is Olivia and Uriel.
Yeah, because, he just has 3 extremely meaningful red buttons.
However, his buttons are very long cooldowns.
They really are. See the
autocast do not count towards activating a button.
True, also true. But yeah, basically any heavy hitters that you get, you put them in a team with Raziel. You hit Keelan on turn 1 with your, tag team or your whatever you want to do it with. And then, you do insano crazy damage for that 1 turn.
Here, Amelia has decent buttons, but it's also really hard to get Amelia to 12 buffs without someone like Arula Maya.
Mm-hmm.
Which, sacrifice one for the other. I'd rather just choose a different character at that point.
Yeah, or the common one for any of these Earth short team requirements is to have the Temptation Chain on your Opus, which means you're sacrificing another
your health.
Yeah.
Also, if it's on your Opus, you're also sacrificing a different thing, your 3rd skill.
Yeah, your actual 3rd skill, which would either be normal damage amp is a really good one now that it exists.
And we work really well here. Skill damage amp also really good here.
Yeah. Or, your old go-to falsehood. I'm trying to remember what buttons Europa has.
You're down again. Yeah,
We good?
I'm guessing no.
Let me see.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but I
Okay, your
see
thing's back
dropping
again.
frames. It's back? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's a bunch of characters who have, a mixture of like one yellow, two red, or et cetera, et cetera. So, there's a lot of play depending on when you want these things to go off, basically. You can adjust a lot of these timings by changing your team comp, which will matter in things like Dread Barrage and in Unite and Fight. But yeah, this is a premium Unite and Fight character, Raziel.
Yeah. If you ever want to do some like thinking about it, I think the wiki updated so you can see like how many buttons each character has.
Yes, they did do an update specifically for Raziel because of Raziel to see how many of each button that a character has. Yeah. It's like, of course, they can't be sacked easily because they are, in fact, Earth.
Yeah, Earth is really does have a hard time dying. We can I think try linking it, but we have links disabled.
Yeah. Sorry, Umikin. Did you know that RJ's in Umikin's crew? I didn't know that until he told me. That's
Oh,
fun
I
kind of
knew.
thing. That's cool. Anyway.
All right,
Um,
look at other characters without the wiki on this.
mhm.
Oh, Adam has pretty good buttons.
It's actually a really good character, just like that gets slept on a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately, he can't. Skill one can't be cheated that well.
But yeah, Adam is a very strong character for short term stuff or just,
You get along with him.
yeah, you can go along with him as well. Um,
Oh, I see. Vicky has 3 yellows.
she does. And she can come, like, it's a very common thing for Vicky to swap into Uriel or Vicky to swap into someone who just then hits a bunch of yellow or red buttons. So that's another thing that goes very well with Raziel.
I see here. Earth Europa has pretty good buttons too.
You know who doesn't
Long
work
buttons
well?
though.
You know who doesn't work well with them? The Uma Musume, who only hit one button ever.
Yeah, I mean that's flavor. They're racing. You can't stop
They
them.
are racing. They can't stop until they hit the finish line.
Which is the end of the match.
Yeah. But yeah. Fun stuff. Like there's a lot of fun things that we're gonna try and work on with this character. You know what we don't work on with this character though? Blue buttons. Boo blue buttons.
Oh
Boo.
my debuffs. Oh, I just saw someone with less than 6 turns on their cooldowns.
We were talking about Aglavale and Tor, and I wish I had them. They would be pretty fun too. I'm trying to think of who else like has a fun way to reset their skills. Does Deonta reset them, or is it just that?
She can reset one of them
Okay,
on CA. She also provides a billion buffs as long as
yeah,
she's not been hit.
yeah. I haven't used her frontline in quite a while, so you are the expert here. Is it two that resets when she CAs off of her EMP?
And that's only one, so I believe it's skill 2.
Colorful cheer resets. Colorful cheer it's their skill two. Cool, but it's multi attack and hype and amp. So I think amp is like one of the only buffs that Raziel doesn't give that you can possibly have when you're doing your combo turn.
I found another. Oh yeah, I forgot Benjamin has two yellows, one red, and yellow gets cheated.
So anyway, for the sake of Henry sanity, this is already broken up into like three bad pieces. Um, we're gonna pretty much have to call this after just spending like the last 10 minutes going through and looking for fun characters to group Raziel with. It's like that's the joy of this character, you know. It's like, all right, who can we do this stuff with in a full auto that'll go off at the right time and just skip a trigger on a Dread Barrage boss, skip something on a Nightmare boss, just very conveniently do giant chunks of damage whenever we decide to. So great stuff. I am enjoying this game. But in the meantime, let's see here. I think that we should just call it and enjoy ourselves for the weekend. DJ, what do you think?
Yep. Let's do it.
But anyway,
have fun, take lots of pics. The meetup was actually yesterday, wasn't it?
it was. I didn't take that many pictures. I was busy handing out stickers. Who took a lot of pictures with the Uma Musume because they're very excited.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
That's they announced that, and I'm like, man, that's the only reason I want to go EX at this point, other than Mahjong Con.
Party Dash is a fun game. We're gonna play it a lot in September. I feel like that one.
We could do it while we're waiting in line at the orchestra.
This is true. We can just pull out a Switch and just get some Joy-Cons out there and do some party dashing. Just dunk on people.
We didn't even talk about her gun.
What is there to say about the gun? It's just like
it uses literally the same bullets as a different gun in a different element. That's really good.
Yeah, the Yukata Silva gun, the something pop gun. Anyway,
it uses it's 6 rifle bullets.
Yeah, I know the pop gun uses that too. But anyway, yeah, people are calling it the slightly worse Phrasevelger, which is not a bad place to be. Anyway, let's hop back, DJ. Let's try and go back to a world where my bit rate doesn't cost us anything.